right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning for the January 2016 network meeting of Michigan Campus Compact. As you know, we've been trying to use technology a little bit better to communicate with our members, having heard from several of you that even though you really value the networking time, it's inconvenient and sometimes not approved in your budget to try to get together in person for a half day 4 times a year. So we're trying to back off and have the 2 face-to-face gatherings with the network per year, hopefully piggybacking those on with some other events so that you can really maximize your time and financial resources, and then we'll meet twice a year by webinar. So we're going to try this. Right now we're using the GoToMeeting platform. We found out recently that National Campus Compact has a subscription to a webinar function or platform called Zoom, which allows for the video conferencing, and that we will be able to have access to that potentially at no cost, and so we're exploring that. So you may see a summer or a fall meeting where we'll be inviting you to a new platform, and we will get to see all of your lovely smiling faces as we're having our conversations. Thank you all for coming. We've got a couple of update items for you. A couple of them will involve actions on your part that we're hoping, and then some good information as we move forward. Just kind of an overarching perspective here is that within the M&A administrative structure, we're continuing to really look at how we more systematically and intentionally promote what we call the lifelong continuum of civic engagement. This is a conversation that's been going on for several years since M&A merged with the affiliates, which includes the Volunteer Centers of Michigan, the League Michigan, which is a K-12 service learning group program, and then also Michigan Campus Compact. So we've got representation from K-12 through adulthood for volunteerism, civic engagement, and engaged learning. And we do a lot of programs and activities that are very meaningful and very helpful, but they're somewhat in isolation. So we're continuing to have conversations on how we can be more strategic about building off our relationships to create and sustain local relationships for impact. So you'll be hearing more about that this summer and fall. Conversations are really coming to a head with that. We're hoping to have some changes for the next fiscal year, which starts July 1. And Wayne Sneath, who is not on our call today, will be part of those conversations, as Wayne has been appointed to the Civic Engagement Committee of the M&A Board of Trustees. So he will be representing us on a board committee representing the voice of campuses and our network as we continue to explore what is civic engagement, what does it look like around Michigan, and how do we work together. So that's really exciting for us. On the national front, we have, sorry, I'm trying to advance my slide. Yeah, technology and I are not best friends. So here's our agenda for the day: national news, program updates, member sharing, and then a reminder of our next meeting. So national news, 2 things coming up in the very quick time frame, both connected to the national conference, but the 30th anniversary action statement. You all should have received links to this through a couple of emails from us since it was first launched last fall, as well as in the notes, our e-newsletter. We will really prominently feature this in the March notes, I think, and that the 30th anniversary action statement for National Campus Compact was a follow-up piece to the President's Declaration on the Public Purpose of Higher Education. As you know, the President's Declaration is kind of the cornerstone document for National Campus Compact. If you haven't read it, it's a 2-page document. You can find it in national website by searching President's Declaration. But it really speaks to why we do what we do, that colleges and universities have a public purpose in addition to educating the individual students, being involved in local community, advancing the civic good, all those things that we know and do on a day-to-day basis. In consideration of Campus Compact's 30th anniversary, they took a look at that presidential declaration and determined that it was really more of a philosophical statement than anything, and thought that it might give us some more momentum as a network if the document had more teeth to it and had some actually defined commitments or outcomes that we expect to see on campuses. And so what they embarked on, and some of you were involved in helping us with our survey, was the creation of this action statement that outlines 5 key action areas. That if a president in a campus is committed to the public purpose of higher education, we might see evidence of that in these ways on campuses. So it might be allocation of resources to an engaged learning center. It might be, very specific partnerships and ongoing relationships within communities and engaging community as partners as opposed to recipients of service, breaking down the town gown kind of thing. So the action statement was vetted last fall by a group of presidents from across the country, and now they are trying to get presidents to sign on to the action statement. I think they said yesterday about 175 campuses have signed on so far. We have just shy of 1,200 members in the Campus Compact Network. Our goal is to get a good chunk of those to sign on. But there will be a template coming out. One of the hesitancies that some presidents have said is, yeah, these actions sound great, but how do we make this happen? And it's probably happening on your campus already, but Campus Compact has now developed a template, kind of an action planning tool that will accompany the president's action statement, and that will be launched later this spring. And that's what we'll be focusing on when we talk about it next in the e-notes, is that this tool is available that will help your campus determine whether or not you'll be signing on to the action statement. I think it's a good action statement. Some of the items are intentionally very vague or broad so that they don't limit participation on a campus based on size, location, budget, nature, type of students, any of that. So if you get a chance, go ahead and dig into the national website, compact.org, and look for the presidential declaration as well as the action statement, and just take a look and familiarize yourself with that. At the national conference this spring, the conference is scheduled March 21st to 23rd in Boston. On Sunday, March 20th, National Campus Compact is hosting a group of presidents, and any president who's a member of National Campus Compact can come, and they'll be hosting this summit, and it will be very visible. It'll be at the Edward Kennedy Center in Boston, and they're going to make a big deal about a signing. There will be a lot of media. The action statement has been endorsed by several of our national partners, AAC and U, for example, and so you can find those endorsers also in the national website. But all those partners will be there, and this summit and the signing is really kind of the kickoff to the next iteration of National Campus Compact, that we are going to be much more action-focused as a network. While states will maintain some autonomy, we'll have some shared measures and goals, and we'll also, because of the action statement, have some more consistent language across the country to talk about our work. So it's a pretty exciting time. If you have a relationship with your president, if you can, just give a reminder, maybe send them an email, hey, please sign on. Last I looked, we had only had one signatory from Michigan yet, and that's Dr. David Eisler Ferris. But we would like to get more of our folks. I'm going to be connecting with our executive committee representatives. We're kind of in a interesting situation here in Michigan in that we're pushing folks to get signed on before the March event, but we also, we'll talk about in a few minutes, have Andrew Seligson, who's the president of National Campus Compact, coming to visit with us in April and with our president. So that's another opportunity for us to get signers. So we're trying to figure out which event do we promote more. Do we want national to get the splash, or do we want more of the splash in Michigan, or can we do both? But we do want folks to pay attention to the action statement and sign on to that. I'll talk a little bit more about the national conference, and then we'll pause for a second, and I'll just check in with Mel to see if anybody has any questions or comments about the national information. So the national conference in Boston in March, they've got about 400 people, I think, registered so far, which is really exciting. This is National Campus Compact's 30th anniversary. They have a great lineup of workshops and speakers and presenters coming in. I am very honored and excited to be presenting with Ruth Stegman from Grand Valley State on the Grand Rapids Engaged Department Initiative. We're hoping that one of our evaluation team members can also go, but I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. So we'll be able to talk about you know, the intersection of the place-based grant-making support from the Grand Rapids Community Foundation with the coordinated efforts of 3 campuses around engaged learning, the relationships with the community partners, and then also what we're learning in Grand Rapids that we're going to be able to share with our members in Michigan as well as across the country. So that's really exciting for us to be able to raise Michigan's profile on a national level and to continue talking about the engaged department model and where that is going in the future. Mel will be presenting with Rania Ezo from National Campus Compact. Rania is their VISTA member there who's working on their college access and success. As you know, college positive volunteerism was shared nationally as a model. National Campus Compact took over the lead of work with other states so that Michigan could focus on our own, work here, but they continue to rely very heavily on Mel's expertise and her work in building this model. So we're really excited about Mel, again, being able to share this model. She has presented this at other national conferences, but I think we're at a different place now where national is bridging college access and college success and looking at how they can connect college positive volunteers with student success programs, working through admissions offices on campuses, working with local college access networks, doing all kinds of innovative things. So we're excited to be able to take some of our work to the national level. Before we move on, are there any questions or comments about national, our relationship with them, or any of their events? Let's pause for a second. All right, seeing no questions, we're going to move ahead. We've got a couple of big programs coming up here. I'm just going to give a quick overview on the awards gala, then I'm going to turn it over to Shelley, our logistics queen and awards master, to talk about some of the details of it. We're really excited about the awards gala this year. As you know, in the past, we've tended to present Michigan Campus Compact Awards at a number of different events. We would do the students at a separate brunch in the spring. We would present to faculty and staff every other year at our institute. We do Engage Campus as part of the giving and volunteering event. And it felt very disjointed as a network. So we're really excited to take the model of some of our other state compact offices and bring everybody together for one big celebration of all the work we do across campuses and across the state. Joining us this year to kick this off will be Andrew Silligson, who again is the president of National Campus Compact. The day, which I don't think I put the date on here, it's Thursday, April 7th. Oh, blip on my brain. April 7th is going to be very busy. We're having our annual Council of Presidents meeting from 3 to 5 p.m. and Andrew will be here with us to talk to the presidents about the future of Campus Compact as well as the action statement. And then he will join us for the evening. The awards gala runs from 5:30 to 8:30. We have dinner for the first hour and then an awards ceremony that'll run about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and then we'll close the evening with a dessert and coffee buffet. So for folks who can stick around to network. So we're really excited about it. We've already had people asking us questions about tickets and tables, and we've got sponsorships going. So I'm going to ask Shelley to step in now with some of the details for this.
Hi, everybody. Don't mind my voice. I have a cold going on here. So the awards gala, like Robin said, is on April 7th. It will be at the Kellogg Hotel and Conference Center in East Lansing. And there are big 10B and C rooms. And that begins at 5:30. Like Robin said, it's going to be like a heavy hors d'oeuvres, cash bar, beverages, networking, and starting the ceremony at 6:30. So we're really excited. I think it should be a fantastic gala. We have had quite a few sponsorships come in. We're very thankful to everybody that sponsored our event. And if you would like more information on the sponsorships that can be found on the homepage of our website, as well as the awards gala page a little bit further in. So the awards gala registration will open on February 9th in the next e-newsletter. That's a week from Tuesday, so look for the e-newsletter to come. And we're going to follow that up the following Tuesday with an email invitation. And that registration will close down a week out of the event, so it'll close on March 31st. You can buy individual tickets at $55 each. Student tickets are $40. Now, the student award winners are at no charge. Just the award winners are at no charge. Any of the award winners. So in the past, people have thought that the students were then able to also bring people with them for free. That's never been the case. So it's just the award winners that get a free ticket. Everybody else pays the $55 for a general seat, $40 for other students that want to come and see their peers win their awards. Or we're trying something new this year. We're going to sell tables, and they're going to be reserved tables of 8, and that will be for $500. But you will then have a guaranteed table where you can all sit together. When you're registering for that reserved table, we do need the names of those individuals that will be seated at that table. So just think about that ahead of time before you go on to that nomination process. So the awards are all in. We have about 58 people nominated in the different categories. The John DiBiagio Beacon Award for Presidential Leadership and the Michigan Engaged Campus of the Year Award for Private Institutions are ready to go to the review committee next week. And those are folks all outside of the state of Michigan that are reviewing for us. In the Champion of Engagement and Innovations in Community Impact, we had about 15 nominations in each one of those categories. So we're really excited about those awards as well. And we are giving out 3 awards in each one of those categories. And that's it for that. And then with the Outstanding Student Commitment to Service Awards, those students have all been informed that they were nominated for this award. And remember, as in the past, they do have to complete a survey. And they have until February 22nd to complete that survey. And when I looked yesterday, we had about 11 of them completed so far. So that's really good. And then we will take those surveys that they fill out, and we will have a review committee determine who the top 6 Outstanding Community Impact Award winners are for that award as well. And then the one big change this year with the Heart and Soul Awards is you may nominate as many people as you want for that award. There is no survey process. The minute you give us the student's name, they receive the Heart and Soul Award, and that will be co-branded with your campus, so you have the opportunity while you're in there submitting names to upload your logo. And so your logo and our logo will be on there, and we will email you the certificates, and you can print them off and hand them out on your campus as you see fit. So,
great. Thank you, Shelley.
You're welcome.
Any questions about the awards gala or the awards process? We'll pause for a second. While you may be raising your hand or typing, I just had one further thought about the flow of the event, so you can let your students know what to expect when they arrive. All of the Outstanding Student Commitment to Service Awards nominees will be invited to the stage to receive their certificate. So it will be a pretty quick, their name will be read, they'll come up to the stage, they'll receive their award, and then they'll go off to the side of the stage to get pictures taken, similar to, if you remember last year, how we had a setup off to the side of stage so we didn't slow things down on stage. The 6 Outstanding Community Impact Award winners, those students who are selected by the committee, will be allowed to give a brief acceptance speech or make a few comments about why this award is meaningful to them or how their work was meaningful to them. But they will be very brief. It'll be about 3 minutes each, kind of. Sometimes those students choose to bring their community partner up on stage with them, because each of those 6 students will receive a $200 award to designate to the nonprofit of their choice. So they may want to bring that representative with them. So we will just coordinate with each of those individual award winners in advance. Given that we're changing up the structure this year and we're really trying to keep the event to an hour and a half, we will be needing to stick closely to the script and the timeline. So we'll be working with all award winners in that regard as far as time goes. We also, just to let you know, the John DiBiagio Beacon Award was named after MCC's founding president, John DiBiagio, who was the president at Michigan State University. For our beginning, he's the guy that sent the letter to all the other presidents and brought them around the table and helped us raise money, and then gave us a home at MSU for 10 years. So his commitment to our network was really significant and really set the foundation for our success. So we're very excited that his family has given us permission to name this award in his honor. And while he lives out east now, and he's experiencing some poor health, so he will not be able to participate with us, but he will be, we will have a representative of his family who will be here to help us co-present this founding award. So we think this is a really special opportunity for us, and we're also excited that Andrew from National will be here for that as well.
So we have two questions. One of them was, when was the deadline to submit nominees for the Heart and Soul Award? That's March 28th. And then the other question, let me look really quick. So for the gala, will there be a block of rooms at the Kellogg Center for those who wish to stay overnight?
We have not made that block of rooms. Do we want to investigate that?
We did not make a block of rooms because they always want a guaranteed minimum, and if we don't hit that minimum, then we are on the hook for paying for that block. So what I've done, when you get the invitation in your email to register for this event, you can click through and see the number to call at the Kellogg Center for rooms, and then I also included a link to the Greater Lansing Convention Bureau with all of the hotels in the area, so you can go ahead and wait for that link, or you can just go on to their website at any time and explore hotel options.
Thank you, Shelley. The other question we've been asked kind of offline is, what is the dress code for the awards gala? When you hear gala, people think black tie and so forth. We're not going that fancy yet. Give us 3 to 5 years and maybe we'll be up to the Academy Awards stature. But we do know that some people will be coming directly from the office. We'll have presidents here already on site for the meeting. So it will be business attire. Folks that want to dress up a little bit more, perfectly acceptable. I'm wearing my purple dress, so there you go. But I don't want the students to feel like they have to go out and buy a new formal or pull the prom dress out of the closet or anything like that. So just make sure folks are comfortable that, it's business attire or semi-formal, but this is not a formal event. Yeah, festive attire. That's a good word, Shelley. All right, and of course, as always, as you have questions, you can email or call us, and we'll do our very best to respond to you as quickly as we can. Exciting, though, to be celebrating all this good work. All right, we also have an update, and I might tag team a little bit with Mel on this if we need to. We're trying something else new this year, in that we are piggybacking the Active Leader Student Conference for 2016 with our Civic Engagement Institute in a shared event that we're calling Partners in Change. So we really want to emphasize the connectivity across campuses and within communities. So we expect we'll be inviting, in partnership with campuses, some of our nonprofit partners to come and participate. Some of our keynotes might focus on this. We'll be featuring, looking to feature workshops from our members that highlight partnership as one of the key components of their success. So the way the event will run this year, we have reserved the Fairlane Center from U of M Dearborn, and they are sponsoring us this year by contributing the cost for that facility. We're very thankful to them and excited about this. It provides us a lot of opportunities. So we'll be running 2 tracks of workshops, basically. Mel will continue to work with the Student Planning Committee that advises the Active Leader Student Conference to develop a student track of workshops. And then we will be releasing a call for proposals for workshops for the Institute. And we will work to identify which workshops are typically identified for students only or faculty and staff only, and then which workshops are open to all audiences. We have a couple of rooms possible for keynote speakers. So we're looking at, again, what topics would be of interest to distinct populations and what would be of interest to us as a shared body. But we think this is going to be a really exciting opportunity to really continue to cultivate this leadership, excite our students, look at partners, get creative in thinking about how faculty and students can work together. I've also been asked internally, and we haven't really discussed this yet, if there will be the opportunity to again invite high school students that are tracking to be service and civic engagement leaders on campus. And we really will have to look at our numbers for that and look at our partnerships and see how that works. We're still not sure exactly how many people will be coming to this event, so we want to make sure we don't oversell ourselves. We're excited by the participation we've had in past events, but if we strictly blended the Institute and Active Leaders Student Conference, we'd have about 350 to 400 people there just with our own audiences without adding additional networks. So we're still thinking about that. We will be working with our Network Advisory Committee of MiCC to have some of these conversations and really talking about what is the focus of the conference and how we continue to move this ahead. And if this is just something that we want to do occasionally, or if this is the model that we embrace moving forward, we certainly will seek the input also from the students to see how they feel it works for them as we continue to support them in their goals moving forward. We'll be launching a call for proposals in early March. Shelley will include that information in the notes. And that will be closed down we'll probably have it open about 6 weeks. Our goal is to have the majority of the workshops identified and selected in May, so folks know before they leave for the summer if they have to think about how this might affect class loads or their own campus events, where they'll be available and so forth for the event in November. Mel, do you have anything to add? No? Okay. Are we good on students for the planning committee, or do we need nominations of a couple more students? I'm not sure where we are.
Yeah, so we usually work with the planning committee of college students for Active Leaders Student Conference. About like 8 to 15, it really depends on the year, participants in that. We try to get a great representation from all across the state and different types of campuses. We usually start reaching out for that in March or April, so I think there's going to be a lot going on with this Partners in Change conference for planning and such around that time. So we usually start with the list from the previous year and see who might be interested. We then reach out to our partners from there, so you'll probably be getting an email from me at some point around March or April to nominate students for that, and I appreciate that, so look out for that.
Great, thank you. All right, closer on the calendar is May 11th coming up. We have our network meeting will be in person at the Lansing Armory, here where the MiCC offices are. And so in the morning is our network meeting from 9:30 to 11:30. There is no charge to attend the network meeting. We will be providing an optional lunch from 11:30 to 1 o'clock, and that will be $15. So folks that want to stick around for lunch will be able to register for that with the web link and pay online. And then following the network meeting, we'll have our next colloquium, which is focused on curriculum mapping for engaged departments. One of the challenges that we've seen with our partners in Grand Rapids and across the country is that faculty members are used to developing their own curriculum and working somewhat in isolation. They're still part of a department, but they don't really consult with each other about curriculum content or how they scaffold service throughout the learning experience of a student. So we are bringing in Carrie Williams-Howe. Carrie is Executive Director of Vermont Campus Compact and the Vermont Higher Education Council. She's done a lot of work on the national level with Rick Battistoni around engaged departments and curricular integration of service. And she also was part of the New England partnership that wrote the first white paper that got all this started 10 years ago. So we're really excited to be bringing Carrie in. She'll be here from 1 to 4. And this will be open to the network across the state. We do know we'll have some faculty coming in from the Grand Rapids Partnership, and I've been working with Carrie on making sure she develops this content, that it's something that's relevant to those that are brand new to curriculum mapping, as well as those that have been doing it for a while and just want to think about how to fine-tune it. I do think that this is a conversation that could be very interesting for our community service directors and service learning coordinators on campus, or service coordinators on campus, as they begin to think about how they can really bridge the student affairs, academic affairs divide that I've heard exists on some campuses, to think about how they can create more bridges between opportunities of student organizations and what they're learning in the classroom. So this, I think, would be of interest to folks. I'm going to blank here for a moment and ask Shelley what the registration fee is for the colloquium. I think it's $60. I think it's $60. It will be in the registration materials for that half-day event. And that's really just to cover the cost of our speaker. When you get someone of this caliber, it's a little bit more expensive, but we think it's worth it. And obviously all the costs of being here in the Armory facility are part of our partnership with M&A, so we don't have to worry about that. So we continue to try to make these events as affordable as possible. Just a side note on the colloquium, we've talked about bringing in Barbara Holland, who's a national recognized expert in evaluation and assessment, as well as, you know, broadly civic engagement and community engaged learning across the country. And she also is a little bit expensive. So we've been in conversations with, again, U of M Dearborn, who've been interested in bringing her in for a while. And so we're looking to potentially piggyback with them to do something in the fall, maybe related to our conference, maybe separate, we're not sure yet. But the May 11 event is an example of how we can partner with our campuses. The University of Michigan Flint was bringing Carrie in for some faculty development work, and so we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to piggyback and highlight her on the state level. So again, we're having that conversation with U of M Dearborn about Barbara Holland. And I would encourage any of our members, if you are looking to bring in national experts to do some work on your campus, or you'd like to explore particular topics, please let us know. We will continue to offer our colloquia about twice a year, is currently in our program plan and our budget. Again, we just need to be able to figure out how we cover the speaking costs. If we do something in partnership with a campus, we try to have it either here in Lansing, where we have the cost covered, or if the host campus, if it's outstate from us, if they can help us locate a low or a no-cost facility as well. And this, again, is just our ongoing efforts. MCC is not trying to make money off these events. We just have to cover our costs and trying to bring the highest quality people we can to you for your development and planning. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, but I will encourage you, if you've got questions or thoughts about either the Partners in Change Conference or the upcoming colloquium, that you share those with Mel, and we will address those questions as we move ahead. So just a couple of big picture items for you to be aware of. We've been talking for about 1.5 years now about Connect to Complete and how we can launch that in Michigan. And for those of you that are new to this conversation, Connect to Complete is a college success program that was developed by National Campus Compact. It was tested in community colleges, but really has application across all campuses. Connect to Complete has 2 critical elements, service learning and peer advocacy. It is founded in traditionally developmental education classrooms, but we're looking at how we can expand that more across the freshman experience. And it is targeted towards traditionally Pell eligible students, or those who are financially, educationally, or socially disadvantaged. So from an evaluation standpoint, this program was evaluated by Brandeis University. It shows significant impact. The problem with it is that it's a little bit expensive. And so we were trying to secure some AmeriCorps resources to help us implement in Michigan. That didn't work. So we've taken a step back a little bit on that to think about how can we support campuses with this programming, where might we be able to find some funding to support this kind of work. So I've been having conversations with Donna Marie Brown at MNA as she goes out and meets with foundations. She's really excited about this model, and we're trying to cultivate some funding support for this. But we're looking at student success broadly across our network. So we have 2 additional support members who will be working with us on this as we move forward. One is we have Cheryl Zukowski, who I think is on the phone with us. She is a Civic Engagement Vista here with MNA, and about half of her position within Vista is focused with us on looking at this issue of student success. So Cheryl's going to be working with us to identify what student success programs already exist across the state and look at what those models look like. For example, are they voluntary opt-in programs on the part of the student? Is it something that's more of a guided intervention where folks are reaching out to students and encouraging them, or is it some sort of a recommended or a required intervention or activity on the part of the student? We're having conversations with King Chavez Parks about how this relates to their work with Europe students. They're very interested in the next cohort of Europe students that will be hitting campus in fall of 2017. They want to make sure they've got somewhere to land in a new support system, so we're working with them. And then really thinking about what is our role in supporting student success, particularly as it relates to engaged learning and what we've learned as a network so far. So we haven't given up on the Connect to Complete model. There's a lot of validity there. But we're looking at, is this the best model for Michigan? Does it apply to many of our members, or are there other ways we can support you in your student success efforts? The second person that's going to be working with us starting in February, we're hoping, is Nordia Campbell. Nordia is a PhD candidate at Michigan State University, and she came to me with interest. She's done a lot of work around academic resiliency and success and what factors lead to resiliency and success, particularly around marginalized populations. So she's doing some PhD dissertation work in this area broadly, and so she'd like to work with us to work with primarily the multicultural affairs offices on campuses and seeing what kind of work they do related to academic resiliency and success. So we're still refining all of the pieces of this work. We had a presentation yesterday by Josh Todd of Oregon Campus Compact, who's talked about the work they're doing around diversity, inclusion, and equity. As you know, we've had our own work group, and so a lot of these conversations are starting to kind of coagulate, I guess, in the middle, and we're starting to see some real strong connections with the interest of our members and some resources we might be able to cultivate for you. So we're still having that conversation. We are going to be in touch with the individual campuses who are interested in Connect to Complete, so we can connect them directly to Cheryl and to Nordia moving forward to learn more about your efforts and to continue talking about resources that we can hopefully cultivate for you. Again, if you have questions about any of that, or if you want to get engaged, send me an email or give me a call. The last piece from the general update is that over the spring, you'll be seeing MiCC's website transition. National Campus Compact has a new web platform that allows each of the state partners to have microsites through their national website. And so the MiCC staff has just finished up our proposed site map for our microsite, and we'll be sending that off to the national office. And then we'll be working with their support provider to transition our website. We will continue to have the same URL, so you'll know where to find us, but our website will look different, and we think we'll have more functionality for you. We'll have the ability to store toolkits related to some of our working group conversations around the diversity, inclusion, and equity work, around evaluation and assessment. Folks have asked us for a basic, like a service learning 101 orientation and some faculty development resources. So we'll be able to post our own resources, link to our member campus resources, and then also pull from national resources all in one site. So this is something that's just beginning to expand on the national level. As other states continue to opt in, it will be nice because as members search the National Campus Compact website, they'll be able to search through all of the states in one easy click if they would like. So again, this is something new, it's evolving. We'll say we're groundbreaking because I think we'll be the 3rd state to do this. Indiana was first, which doesn't bother me because I like their director, he's pretty cool. But we're moving ahead with this. So what you'll see is we will continue to work with those working groups around specific focus areas that ask for toolkits and ask them to help us develop the content for those toolkits as we're moving forward. But this should be done for sure by the beginning of our next fiscal year, July 1st, and hopefully a little bit earlier than that. All right, now we're going to go, we'll unmute everyone. No, we won't, because that gets a little hanky. If you've got a report or something you'd like to share, we're going to ask you to raise your hand, and Mel will unmute you, or I will, one of us. And then you can share a report out of something exciting that's going on your campus, news that you'd like to share. We do want to welcome Ferris State University to the Gear Up CPV program. As you may know, Mel manages our grant here with the Hing Chavez Parks program through Workforce Development to infuse CPV into Gear Up. We've been focused on 5 campuses in the state. We now have Ferris State coming on as number 6. And we are looking for additional partners in the next few years of our grant. So if you're interested, have questions about that programming, contact Mel. She's our in-house expert. But we're really excited to be working with Ferris and want to congratulate Danielle, our contact there. She's really taken off with this in great form, and we're excited about the progress they're making. All right, while we're waiting for anyone to raise their hands, I'm going to ask Shelley and Mel if you have anything else to share. What did we miss? Anything we need to emphasize?
I think you covered it all really well.
Okay.
We had somebody ask about if you could perhaps provide a written update of Connect to Complete at some point.
Absolutely.
Because we keep losing. Somebody's having an internet connection.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. So we will do a written update on where we are with Connect to Complete and the student success work. We are opening the conversation again at the Student Success Conference next month. I will be hosting a conversation there. It's in a workshop block, but it's really more of a conversation about how we can bridge college access and success and look at the work of local college access networks, college advisors, and how we can really build those intentional relationships. So as students are moving onto campus, we're communicating with them and getting them connected to the right programs, as well as what support we can offer for student success. So we'll do a written update and send that out as well. Are there other questions that were posed? Anybody raised their hand? There's nothing going on in the network. I know there's good stuff going on. Dave has a question. Did he type it or are we unmuting him? All right, Dave, you are unmuted if you would like to ask your question or give your report.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dave.
So excited to share the news that we have a Tri-Campus Community Engagement Student Summit coming up, collaboratively planned with students and colleagues from U of M Flint, U of M Dearborn, and Ann Arbor. Excuse me, we are providentially being hosted by U of M Flint, and so there will be some work around the current engagement with the Flint water crisis, but also a number of student-led workshops and collaboration labs, collab labs, around other issues like student leadership for engagement or working with and helping to resettle refugees in the area. It's an all-day event, free to students, and we'll have some community partners there as well. The Flint chancellor will speak, as well as U of M's new special counsel to the president for essentially the tri-campus interaction. And so we're excited about it. The timing has been, as I said, sort of providential to be there, and we're looking forward to what action and projects may grow out of the the collaborative conversations with students.
Great.
And
Thanks, Dave. I think that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, shout out to colleagues from Flint and Dearborn for their great work on this as well.
Great. Hey, Dave, do you have a new director?
We do have a new director. Mary Jo Callan started August 3rd, I believe. We're in the midst of a fairly comprehensive strategic planning process that is going to yield really exciting results and vision for our future. We plan to sort of publish that in April and take some of the summer to begin to pivot into what may be a little bit more of a seeking an intentional balance between community impact and student learning, which we've talked about but haven't always, because of sort of the diffuse nature of a lot of our programs, haven't always struck that balance. And so going to focus our work a little bit more, try to be a little bit more of a permeable conduit between the community and the campus, and I think it's going to be some exciting work for us for the next several years.
Wonderful. Any other reports from anyone? Not seeing any hands. All right, so we won't hang you in silence for too long. We do want to congratulate Mona from U of M Flint, had her little baby Sebastian. So she will be back, I believe, in early April from maternity leave, so that's exciting. We like to share the good news in the network as well. I lost my mouse again. There we go. All right, so we gave you several dates. Here are our email addresses as well as our direct line phone numbers to our desk if you want to get a hold of us. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and we're really, really always grateful for your contributions, your participation. We love being able to talk to other states about the great work going on in Michigan, and that's all because of you. So always thank you, and we hope you are getting a little sunshine today and that you have a great rest of the day and a wonderful weekend. We will talk to you soon. Bye.